Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken not given, joined as always by John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. It is always great to hear John Cooper Paz. It is something I'm very new to. I still have to catch myself sometimes, but it's exciting. I like it. But
You-
I'm feeling better today than I was on Tuesday when we spoke, DJ.
yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't feeling better. That's true. Oh no, am I frozen?
You do appear to be frozen, but I can hear you. So
Damn.
keep talking.
Boy. This is bad. It's gonna be bad. Bad omen. Bad omen. Oh, so you're gonna have to go down to the Social Security Administration and get your name changed, right? Have you started that process?
So I'm not going to legally change it yet, just because mostly because we're lazy. But I don't want to deal with changing passports and all this shit. So our plan is to legally change when we have kids. Because until then,
Oh boy.
you guys.
Wow, John going halfway. Wow, I never figured John to put stuff off until the last minute until the kids come involved. Okay, all right.
What, DJ? Come on, me? No.
No, that's kind of surprising, kind of shocking. But yeah, I am feeling a bit better. There's just so much to go over, and I didn't get a chance to load the clips that I wanted. But what do we want to start with first? We'll be joined later on in the show. I keep freezing. I'm sorry. My computer's been giving me a ton of problems all day today. We're going to be joined for the second half of the show, at least most of the second half, by Lamont Tyson. And we got a comment here from Heather saying John's not a legal feminist. Like he's not committed to the bit. He's not actually going. He's one of those performative men, pretending that they care about the cause and everything like that. But yeah, we'll be joined by Lamont later on in the episode. John, what should we start off with today?
I think we got to start out with the Epstein files.
Let's go.
More specifically, I want to start this conversation off because we talked a lot about the Democrats and their caving on the government shutdown on Tuesday's episode, and we're going to get back to that. I think when Lamont comes on, because we vented a lot, and I'd like to hear someone else vent as well. But it's been incredible to watch. It's like when you're watching a shitty Thursday night football game, and you're just like, it seems like both teams are trying to lose. I mean, that is what we're in right now. In politics, because the Democrats just clusterfucked it all up. They voted to negotiate over a government shutdown, shut down the government for 40 days, and then caved. Just lost all their leverage, lost all of their arguments, lost all of their talking points. It was awful. However, they're somehow being rewarded for that by the fact that now we can open up the Epstein files. We have the votes to make them public, and Donald Trump is panicking. And I remember, TJ, when we were talking about this last week, we were like, it's kind of weird that Donald Trump is wanting to nuke the filibuster in order to open the government back up, because once the government opens back up, now they're going to have to release the Epstein files. He must have a plan. If he's this confident, he must have some plan for what's going to happen when that... No, he didn't. It seems like he didn't even consider this as a possibility when the government reopened, that this would be back in the news again. And you know what? Thank God he's incompetent, because we're having an incompetence off in the U.S. government right now, TJ.
It's none of it makes a lot of sense to me. Although I can see, like, so if you're Donald Trump, right, and the government is shut down, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to give me a reprieve from the Epstein stuff. That's good. But everything else in your presidency is collapsing. It ceases to be good. Like, you can't keep the government shut down for 3.5 years. And so I'm guessing maybe he thought, well, okay, we'll put a Band-Aid on this thing. And, I'm not convinced the Epstein thing is going to matter. Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh, calm down, TJ. I think the same thing that will happen that always happens. There's a uproar, this furor for a couple of days. Trump looks guilty as fuck. The right-wing media finds a way to just jump through an ever increasingly more ridiculous hoops to defend him, and then within a week or two, everything's back to normal. I kind of think that's what's gonna. I know every time it happens, everyone thinks this is the one, this is it, and this one feels more like the one than anything else. But I don't know. I don't think that it's gonna matter all that much.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, and I've said this many times. If we are actually in a situation where it's not going to matter, we know how Trump reacts to things that aren't going to matter. He goes on offense. He tax everyone in sight, and that is his playbook. That is not the playbook we're seeing. I'm seeing Trump at his most cowardly that I have ever seen him. By the way, TJ, we have Goofy Wise in my audience on TikTok.
Yo.
He's telling me that I'm having audio struggles. So I'm
Oh
I'm
boy.
trying here, and we're gonna get that figured out. But wait, are you really like this is no different than anything else? Because to me, if it was, then Trump would be acting as if it was no different than anything else. He is not doing that.
Well, what does he do the other times? Like when the letter came out, he lost his mind. He went crazy. He threatened to sue everyone. He said it was a Democrat hoax. Whenever the Democrats first threatened to start releasing the files, he called it a Democrat hoax. He threatened to sue everyone, threatened to sue Rupert Murdoch. I don't know what he's doing differently than he's done every other time. To me, it seems like he does the exact same thing every time. He turns into a nuclear bomb. He sends Caroline Leavitt out there to say this is all a distraction from the Democrats. He did it with honestly, I think it's the same playbook he has with every crisis, regardless of size. He panics about all the stuff that makes him look bad. It's released and it doesn't matter within 30 days. Like to me, it seems to be the same pattern as always.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, he's gone silent. He's not been posting. Did you see the clips of him like today with press just not answering any questions, walking away from them? Like that is just not standard Trump behavior. Like I have to imagine. Well, let's get into the stuff that has come out, because what I will agree with you on is that I don't feel like the stuff that has come out like today and yesterday is very damaging at all. Like they seem to be reacting like it is a big deal, but I feel like it's basically, if your mind wasn't changed with all the other shit, I don't know what was in these emails that have been released that would. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's a Rorschach test. This is just confirmation bias and everything. If you already assume that Donald Trump was definitely involved, like we do, that Trump was absolutely involved with Epstein, most likely with illegal shit, you're going to read into that. When Epstein says stuff that, or Trump is the dog who hasn't barked, and Trump spent several hours with whatever his name, Virginia Guthrie, I think her name was, and all that stuff, you're going to say, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's what Trump do. But if you're a Trump supporter, you will find some way to justify that. Everything we saw was no worse than stuff that we've seen before. So yeah, we do have to wonder, how much would it take for you to think, okay, this guy is actually guilty? I don't think that standard of evidence exists. I've been on record many times saying that they could have concrete proof that Trump absolutely did this. They'll say it was fake. They won't believe. Trump supporters will say it's fake. They won't believe it. So yeah, I agree with you that to me, it seems ridiculous. I mean, Trump was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein on Thanksgiving Day while he was president. That should, I mean, I thought we all agreed this was a bad guy, right? Like we all agreed that we knew he was a bad guy long before this. And according to Trump supporters, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago because he was a pedophile. But he still hung out with him a few years later on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, I know. I don't understand it.
Yeah, so it should, right? Like you would think that in a sane world, it should matter that the president of the United States is having Thanksgiving dinner with a convicted pedophile. You would think that would matter. And the attack line I'm seeing from Republicans seems to be, Democrats are using this as a distraction to take eyes away from their government shutdown fiasco, which that is true. That is 100% happening. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. Like to be very clear, I keep hearing this, the Democrats are doing this part of their agenda. They are. 100% agree with you, Republicans. This is very good for the Democrats, and they are pouncing on it. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. Like when Joe Biden went out there on the debate stage and absolutely looked like a senile old man, and the Republicans bounced on it. Yeah, that was an intentional part of their agenda. They were also right? Like two things can be true at the same time. The other thing I keep hearing is, oh, well, this doesn't prove anything. And that is true. Like this is an email from Epstein saying that Donald Trump was at Thanksgiving in 2017.
17, yeah.
And sure, that is possible that he's lying, whatever. But we
What?
know that in 2019, when Donald Trump was asked about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, his answer was that I don't talk to him. I haven't talked to him in 15 years. That is clearly not true. Unless, like, Epstein is utterly insane and the people talking to him are utterly insane. Everyone seems to be in the know that he is talking to and hanging out with Donald Trump less than 15 years ago. So clearly Donald Trump is fucking lying about that. And he's lying for a goddamn reason. And we all know Donald Trump lies. In fact, I believe most Republicans don't even really care that much that Donald Trump lies. So it's not going to be that big a deal. But when it comes to this thing, come on, guys. Like, you can't just say, oh, this isn't evidence enough that he is in some sort of contact with a convicted pedophile when he is the most powerful man in the world and has a responsibility to prosecute him, to go after him. All of this contact and evidence that he has, he knows, and he did nothing about it. That alone, it should be damning enough for you to no longer support this man as a president. That alone. Even if you're going to say it's not enough to say that he participated in any illegal activity, that's fine. I can agree with that. I don't have bulletproof evidence for that. But we have pretty goddamn bulletproof evidence that he knew Jeffrey Epstein was illegally trafficking girls, and he did nothing about it. Which I know it won't, change too many minds, but he is underwater. Like, we're pulling him out today, DJ. 55% of Republicans disapprove of his handling of the Epstein files. And that doesn't mean that 45% of Republicans think that he's complicit, but they are pissed about this. Like, this is something that moves.
But what does move the needle even mean in this scenario, though? Yeah, they'll be mad about it. It's just, I don't know. It's like Groundhog Day. Yeah, they'll be mad. They'll be upset. They'll throw a fit. Will they stop supporting him? Like, this was similar to when the letter came out, or every time Trump blocks the release of the files or anything like that. Republicans get mad. They say, "Oh, this isn't cool. We'll see." Influencers, maybe, like today, it's the same thing. Tim Pool was saying, "Yeah, this is kind of weird. It's kind of strange," but I bet if they do a poll next week, what's the Republican support of Trump? It'll still be in the 90s. It'll still be through, and Trump's going to be president for 3.5 more years. He's not going anywhere. So, like, them being mad about this can only last so long, right? I mean, the Republican Party, I'm assuming they're going to lose the midterms anyway. Maybe they may lose more because of this. That might be an actual effect of this. That the midterms may go even worse. But Trump is going to be fine. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. I mean, I don't know what else could happen to him.
So before I respond to that, TJ, I just want to say we have a lot of people in our audience now because we are able to stream vertically, and I didn't know that was the fucking.
Didn't know it was an option. Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. Just so you know, we stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:35 EST. This is the Left Wing. We talk about left-wing politics. We also do movie reviews and all that sort of stuff. So we will try and get to some comments here throughout the show. But that is typically our Tuesday show. So if you want to interact with us, definitely come on Tuesdays at 6:30 EST. But yeah, TJ. So here's the biggest argument against the idea that this isn't anything is that Republicans are defecting on this. Like, Donald Trump is calling up Nancy Mace and saying, "Yo, take your name off the discharge petition," and she is saying, "No, I'm not going to do it." And we've now had more Republicans say that they're voting yes on the discharge petition, and there was reporting going on that many Republicans, if this goes to a floor vote, are going to vote yes, let's release the Epstein files. And that is in a way that we have not seen. Republicans break en masse with Donald Trump over anything. And the fact that, even just the fact that is happening is a significant change in the status quo. We have not seen that happen in years. And shit, like, it just kind of depends how goddamn damning it is, I think, TJ.
Well, yeah, I never trust anonymous reporting that Republicans are going to break ranks. I don't trust that at all. I'll believe it when I see it. I get with Republicans. Actually the only time I've seen Republicans in mass break rank against Trump was with the filibuster. That's the only time I've seen any Republican stand up to Trump for any reason. And he was still today. I think it was today where he said, I'm reiterating the fact that we need to get rid of the filibuster. Kind of odd to try to keep dying on that hill or everything. I don't know. I'd like to see it. It is entertaining for me to watch Republicans try to defend this in some way. Because look, you can think Trump was innocent up to a certain point. Let's say what would it take? That's the question you should ask them. What exactly would it take for you to think, okay, wow, maybe there is something up here with Trump. Maybe he did do something illegal. Him hanging out with Epstein. And all of this stuff can't be fake. It's kind of like with the birthday card that he wrote in, that this was taken from evidence years ago, long before Trump even considered running for president, and they pulled the card. Oh no, it's fake. That's a hoax. The emails that Epstein sent, they were to other people. They were like to Ghislaine Maxwell and other people. Why would he lie to them years ago about Trump being there? None of it makes any sense, but it doesn't matter because it's a Democrat hoax. Oh, and I'm glad you brought this up to distract from the government shutdown shenanigans. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I could see that happening, but I think I saw you post something on Threads about this. I am on Threads now, folks. I haven't done anything on it.
DJ is
But
on
yes,
Threads.
I hopped on Threads, but I didn't post anything. But I did see that you commented. You said something like, what's with them with the slow drip of information, like they're teasing a movie or something? I agree. I am so sick and fucking tired of this. Like, why do we have 20,000 documents or emails released today? Where were these? What was so goddamn important about these that they couldn't be released earlier? And this is another question for Republicans out there. If you think Trump is totally innocent in this, why were these documents hidden in the first place? Why? Like, why weren't they released back in his big publicity stunt with the Epstein files, phase one? Those emails were nowhere to be found. Now, of course, I know what they're thinking because they're conservatives. Their minds are fairly easy to read. But they'll say, well, Biden didn't release these either. Okay, great. Move on. Well, what do you want me to do about that? If you want to say that the Biden administration or some of the Democratic Party had something to hide, okay, all right, I'm with you. Now we're back. Why didn't Trump do it? I will gladly concede that. Will you concede the same thing? You fucking won't because you're cowards.
No,
Look, someone actually commented, why didn't Biden release files? Just answered your question, moron. All right, John, what'd you sorry.
it's very funny because like that is a very valid question. I actually posted today on Threads. I said if the Epstein files prove Trump's guilt, why didn't Biden cover them up? Republicans need to understand that this is a whataboutism and is in no way a substantive defense of Donald Trump. Democrats need to understand that this is an extremely valid critique of Biden, and we should also be demanding an answer to this question. And like that's the thing. It's just like I agree. Like Republicans, you want to say why didn't Biden release this? You want to talk about that? I will talk all fucking day with you about that, bro.
Yep.
We will pounce on Biden. He fucked this up. Like he did 100%. It is a big black mark on him, of many black marks. We'll agree with you on that. Why didn't he do it? My guess is the same as yours, because he or his rich and powerful friends are implicated in this as well, and that is why he covered it up. Can we agree on that? Cool. Okay, so why is Trump doing the same goddamn thing? Like It's the same thing. And if you think Biden was covering it up for that reason, because you think he's on the list and you think he's implicated, or Clinton's implicated, he couldn't do it, I agree with you. So then why ain't Trump doing it, bro? Why ain't Trump doing it? If all of these Democrats, if he hates Joe Biden more than anything in the world, he lives to shit on Joe Biden. You think that he has some evidence that doesn't incriminate him, but incriminates Joe Biden, incriminates Bill Clinton, and he's like holding on to it for what reason? There is no, like, I'm beyond even an idea of what the plausible explanation is for him continuing to do this. But I'm also beyond an idea why everyone seems to be like okay with that, or at least not the half of Republicans seem to be okay with how he's handling this. Like even if he was on the other foot, I would be furious. So furious.
Because they're in a cult. Like, I mean, I know it's kind of trite and everything to say, but Trump can literally do nothing wrong. And I can't speak for a certain segment of the MAGA group. I can speak for the right-wing conservative Christian evangelical group. I can speak for what they're thinking. And they know Trump is a bad guy for the most part. Like, they know that Trump is not someone that they would want their sons to grow up to be like. They probably wouldn't want their daughter to marry someone like Donald Trump. Marrying Donald Trump, yes, they would be okay with that. But marrying someone like Trump, they probably wouldn't like. But Trump to them is like the terrible swift sword of God. That is how they see Trump. They see Trump. You'll hear them often refer to Trump as a King David type figure, like someone who's deeply flawed but gets the job done. And that it's because like their morality, however flimsy, or their concept of right and wrong or good and evil, that gets tossed out the window in exchange for political power mighty fast. They will give up anything to gain more political power. So if voting and supporting an adulterer with 5 kids, with 3 different women, blasphemer, like just like the worst person that you could possibly imagine, means that you can get abortion taken away, that you can, brutalize minorities and immigrants, they will vote for it every time. Like that means more to them than anything. So they will vote for a pedophile if it means that they can get their political will accomplished. They will ride this wave as long as they possibly can, and that's why I know they're not stopping anytime soon. People don't understand what this cult is like, what these folks are actually like. If you actually believe that demons were real, like not as like a metaphorical representation of human malice or some sort of like malevolent nature inside of human beings. No, as in Satan is a real person with a mind, a will, and goals, and he's coming for your children. You would do anything to stop that. And if you believe Donald Trump is going to stop Satan and protect your kids from going to hell and stop the people in your nation from going on a path of destruction to hell, you don't care. Yeah, he could be a pedophile. He could be an adulterer, a murderer. It's not going to matter. You're going to back him, which is why I know they'll do it in the future.
Yeah, and you're right. And honestly, TJ, I have a modicum of respect for that position.
In a way, I do. Politically, it's great.
It's because, I don't respect anyone who is willing to support a pedophile in order to gain political power. Like, I to be very clear, that's a reprehensible moral position to take. However, I respect its consistency. Yeah. I respect that. Like, that's a reason to support a pedophile. Like, it's a reason of like, hey, there's a bigger goal here that I'm trying to accomplish, and I'm going to let the ends justify the means. I disagree that your ends justify any means. In fact, I think your ends are fucking awful. But at least I get the reasoning there. What shocked me, TJ? What shocked me? I read that thread earlier, and I had people defending Joe Biden in my fucking comments.
Well, I'm not shocked actually. Yeah,
I'm not shocked. Let's hear it. Shocked is a strong word, but like it was. They were like, oh yeah, he couldn't release the files because they were sealed. There was a prosecution going on, and it's like, bro, you can't be fucking serious.
Pathetic.
Also, everything I said about Donald Trump applies to Joe Biden. He can't release them because they're under judicial seal. First of all, he could leak them. Let's not be fucking naive. Second of all, even if he was trying to be Mr. Goody Two Shoes and not do anything illegal, the least he could have fucking done. He's in possession of troves of information about powerful, rich, and influential people who very possibly participated in a massive child sex trafficking ring. And he did nothing about it. Did nothing about it. For 4 years, not a single prosecution, not a single arrest, nothing. All there was Ghislaine Maxwell. She was the only one who's ever been held accountable for any of this. That's fucking awful, guys. Like, we cannot sit here as people on the left and be on a high horse about this Epstein file shit if you don't give Biden the same fucking shit you're giving Trump for withholding this information and not prosecuting the people who are on this list. You cannot have it both ways. It has to either be all of this is a hoax or all of this is real and we should be doing everything we can to prosecute every single person that we have any information on related to Jeffrey Epstein. That's the only two possibilities. I've seen a lot of people in the comments like, oh, well, Clinton's on the list, Obama's on the list. Good. Anyone on the list, let them fucking have their day in court, and if found guilty, rot in jail for as long as humanly possible, because TJ, this might come as a surprise to you, but fuck pedophiles. That's just fuck them.
That's
I'm fine with having fucking retributive justice on pedophiles. I'm okay with that. They can rot in prison. That's okay. I don't need to rehabilitate them. That's fine with me. I will. That is moral hypocrisy, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It is. I was going to mention earlier that I've seen sparse mentions of Bill Clinton in these files so far. I know that he was on the flight logs and everything, but I've seen way more of Trump than Clinton. But I wouldn't care either way. It's funny. It's funny because Clinton was such a long time ago. It's weird to because so it makes sense if someone like my age or older, like people who actually remember Bill Clinton, if folks like that was like, oh wow, I bet you guys really worried about Clinton. I mean, your average American is not 65 years old or something. Like they barely remember Bill Clinton at all. And the thinking that the Democratic Party still, although I will say, yeah, the big D Democratic Party, they still trot Clinton out for some reason and everything. But your rank and file Democrat voter does not really care. In fact, there's a negative connotation of Bill Clinton because he was also a rapist, which is why we're fine if he gets punished. Like no one, well, no, but we certainly don't care either way. It's just weird seeing the wagons being circled around this guy, but I do get why.
Yeah, no, it's very weird. I'm still seeing comments like I don't know, TJ, how real people aren't extremely like I get the fucking crazy people online that are just fucking super online. They need to go touch grass. I get that. I don't know how like average Joe looks at this and is reflexively defensive of Donald Trump. Like I really struggle to picture detached from politics person not caring about this. And I think TJ, like I really do think the reason the floor hasn't fallen out from underneath them is because there has been no smoking gun, and so everyone is just defaulting to the status quo, business as usual. But like it really like TJ, like at this point I'm like either there's a smoking gun or there isn't. And I know you say if there's a smoking gun it won't matter. Damn, I cannot abide by the fact that I live in that reality. If it turns out that I do, I'll deal with it. But until then, I must live with the hope that a smoking gun that Donald Trump participated in the sex trafficking of children or having sex with them himself, that would crush me if that didn't matter.
Prepare to be crushed, John. Actually, don't prepare to be crushed because I don't know if there is a smoking gun or anything like that. But you know it won't matter because he's already an adjudicated rapist. It didn't matter a fucking bit. Not one. Not one time. Hey, everyone knows this. Everyone that voted for Donald Trump knows that he was on a civil trial for rape, found guilty or, found liable because it's different because it's not a criminal, okay? Doesn't matter. They will find any way to defend him. He was indicted dozens of times, right? And these are federal indictments, by the way. The federal government, you can check me on this, guys, has something like a 96% success rate on their indictments. They're in
Trump administration. They had something like a 90%.
Yeah, now it's like probably like
they are going to take a hit on that.
Yeah. Is that they get their ducks in a row before they set indictments. They don't know what the indictments are. Like what they hear that he was indictment, all fake news. He was indicted, all fake news. They don't read them. They don't look over them. Doesn't matter. Donald Trump is on video multiple times saying how he would love to fuck his daughter, right? Saying how hot his daughter is, how, oh, we have so much in common. One of them is sex. And there was a 10-year-old girl that he said, maybe I'll be dating her in 8 years or something. He mentioned when his daughter Tiffany was born, she was an infant. He said, yeah, I'm thinking she's going to have big boobs like her mom. None of this stuff matters. So if it comes out that it's smoking, that is what half a step above what they know he was best friends with Epstein. There are more pictures of Trump with Epstein than you have with anyone you know. They hung out all the time. We have records, we have emails, we have how many people do you write birthday cards for? And you're like, how close does someone have to be before you give them a birthday card? How many people do you hang out with on
I
Thanksgiving?
can probably count on my hands, TJ.
Yeah, like the number of people that you have the same bond that Trump clearly had with Epstein in the single digits. None of it fucking matters at all. So if word came out, we had actual evidence that Trump was committing crimes with Epstein, they would ignore that too. I don't see any reason to believe otherwise. I know it's a dark world, but that's the truth.
So, Jonathan Fanky 7739 here said you grab women by the private. So many reasons to dislike Trump, and honestly, I can't tell you. It is upsetting how many times I think back to that moment, and really, that should have been the moment. Like the biggest argument in your defense right now is that, yeah, if people gave a shit, if people actually gave a shit about any of this, about sex crimes, about assaulting women, about any of this, they would have cared at that moment. That would have been the end of it for Donald Trump, because he admitted on tape to sexually assaulting women. And what we ended up getting was half the country saying, no, it's not sexual assault to grab women by the pussy without their consent, because look, he said they let him do it. They didn't say no, therefore it's okay. And yeah, if you can justify that, you can justify a hell of a lot. Here's my question. The people in the audience right now, I really want to know. I really want to know this. The Trump supporters in the audience right now. Hypothetically, let's say we got smoke and gun evidence. I don't know what it is. It's a fucking video. It's it's whatever. It is whatever the evidence would be. That would be like, yep, no, Trump definitely did that. That he either helped Epstein traffic children or participated in the sex himself. Would that make you stop supporting him? Would that make you support the impeachment of Donald Trump? Answer honestly. You know 100% that evidence, it is true. He did it. Would you impeach him? I really want to know. I really want to know. I would argue that at least 40% of Republicans would not impeach. And I'm being pretty gosh darn charitable to Republicans.
Yeah. All right. Do you mean 40% of Republican voters or 40% of Republicans in the Senate? Like
Voters.
what voters?
40% of Republican voters would say he should be impeached if that were to happen. That is my guess. But you know, I think I'm
40
charitable.
40 is being incredibly generous, John. I mean, 20 at most, at absolute most. Because they're not going to believe it. Like you might as well ask them, well, what would you do if down was up? If objects started falling up instead of falling down, like it wouldn't matter. It's a nonsense question. They're not going to accept, assuming that they believe in gravity. I know Republicans have a difficult time with stuff like physics and the shape of the Earth and everything. So I just don't think that they will accept the premise of the question. It's not something that to them Trump is not. Everything Trump does is good, and good people are not pedophiles. Therefore, Trump's not a pedophile. That's just a circular syllogism. That's how they think.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some people say I vote to impeach. So proud of you. Like if you know what I will say, TJ, if anyone who doesn't believe it right now, if the evidence comes out and they change their mind about it and they say this guy should be impeached, I welcome you. I welcome you with open arms. We don't have to agree about anything else politically. You don't have to agree with me on universal health care. You don't have to agree with me on food stamps. You don't have to agree with me on diddly shit. As long as you agree with me on shitting on the diddlers. Like that's it. Like if we can agree on that, I can retain my sanity and belief that America can survive.
I don't welcome them with open arms, because I think that the only people who would say that would be Democrat plants. I think that would just be like people pretending that they were Republicans all along just to try to shit on people, score political points.
I fucking TJ, but this comment. Y'all have zero proof. Until then, Trump 2028, Democrats are the child groomers. Bro, like come on.
It's
Democrats are the ones trying to release the information on the people we know are child groomers. Like, let's be like, you can say Trump isn't in there. That's fine. Because I don't know that for a fact. But the fact of the matter is, we know that the Democrats are the ones trying to release the information on the child groomers and the pedophiles, and the Republicans are the ones hiding that information away. That's just the facts of the matter, bro. You cannot argue otherwise. I mean, you can just
You
fucking
can.
lie out your
You
ass.
can.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
like that, but like, it doesn't mean it's fucking true.
It also, this is something that I guess is only tangentially related here, but after Charlie Kirk assumed room temperature, we got a lot of people saying that the reason that Charlie Kirk got shot was because the rhetoric from the left wing, that people were calling Charlie Kirk a fascist and a Nazi and saying all this horrible stuff about him. And, you know, that speech is bad. All of a sudden, that speech, you can't do that. That hate speech, which they don't believe in, is suddenly an issue. And it's an absurd thing to say because read any Trump speech. Like read what Trump says about Democrats Democrats, leftists every single day, calling them fascist one. Like that was funny. The fascist, what they went, Trump is called the left fascist hundreds of times, saying that they were, you know, a harm to society, that they're enemies of the nation, they're going to destroy the state. But your average, everyday garden variety conservative, they say that because we believe that the parents of children get to decide the medical treatment, like the treatment for children should be left up to the parents, the patient, and their doctor, and their psychological counselor. The state shouldn't be getting involved in that. And because we're like, oh yeah, and also trans people of any age should be treated with love, kindness, and respect instead of suspicion, ridicule, and contempt. You're a pedophile. That's it. Like, that's their answer right there. So calling like millions of people pedophiles, that's not dangerous hate speech. Like the most hated group of people in America are pedophiles, right? Everyone agrees that pedophiles are bad news. And that's what they call us on a day-to-day basis. I bet we've been called it hundreds of times in the comments today. Doesn't seem to matter. Right? It doesn't seem to matter. So yeah, I know the hypocrisy burning doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't matter at all in discourse, but I just wanted to bring that up. Also, John, I don't know what you have pulled up here, but I wanted to show this clip real quick because it's going to be indicative of one of the plays in the playbook that Republicans are going to use.
It's so funny. I was just
you got it. Okay, great. Okay. Well, so there's two clips here. All right. So okay. I have one here. This is I can't remember her name. It's like Bakr Sundar or something. I can't remember her. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. But she's actually saying that Jeffrey Epstein did not have a pedophile ring like we all thought before. So let's hear this.
We have not seen some slew of young women come forward to say, me too, on Donald Trump molesting them or having paid for sex with them when they were barely legal or otherwise. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, in fact, at that same press conference, the lawyer for a group of the women actually said Jeffrey Epstein would prey upon women when they were underage, true and disgusting and horrible. And then the lawyer said, and when they came of age and he was no longer interested in them, he would then pass them on. So there was no pedophilia ring. There was a pedophile who did unspeakable things to vulnerable girls, and then they would age out of Jeffrey Epstein's pedophilic interests, at which point he would then start to pass them around to his friends, meaning that there were not actual crimes committed by anybody beyond. There's no pedophile ring. There's a pedophile and then a bunch of friends who were getting massages at that point from women who were no longer underage. This is from the lawyer at that press conference. So I think that kind of dispels a lot of the salaciousness of the story. People are like, where is the justice for the victims? The justice is one of the people who did unspeakable things to them died in prison, and the other one is still in prison. So they got their justice. And the whole ring idea, I think, has been wildly blown out of proportion for these political reasons.
I don't know about
John, I counted 4 distinct times right there. She said that there is no pedophile ring. This is gonna be one of the talking points used by the right. I guarantee it. Very quick. We talked about this before, that eventually they're gonna have to pivot to, well, maybe Jeffrey Epstein wasn't as bad as we thought. It's one of the only ways out on this. Had you seen that before?
Okay, so I thought you were pulling up something else.
I have that one too. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Because we will watch that one next. But I had not heard that one. Do you know who that woman was?
She's on CNN. There's a show on CNN where it's like 6 people at a round table and they're jaw jacking back and forth.
That fucking show.
I'm positive. Like I recognize her name. Yeah,
With, like,
Batya Ungar Sargon.
there's
At
the
least
black lady who's like the host of it.
yes, yeah. At least
whatever.
I don't remember. Yes,
guy.
the smug Republican guy. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the blonde guy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's not a regular on that show, but I've seen her on the show multiple times. But yeah, so that's her.
So, I want to break that down for a second, TJ, because
yeah, let's go. It's great.
This is the actual argument that she just made. I just want to make it very clear. There is no pedophile ring, right? Jeffrey Epstein is acquiring these young girls. Scott Jennings, there you go. Is acquiring these young girls and then illegally fucking them, right? Let's all agree that's bad. We all agree it's bad that Jeffrey Epstein had sex with these underage girls. However, the moment they turned 18, he passed them on to his friends. What the fuck do you mean by that? What do you mean he passed them on? That's not how consensual sexual relationships work. She literally said, there's no crime committed because they're over the... Even if I were to believe this is true, even if I were to believe that not a single person who ever went to Epstein's Island ever had sex with an underage girl and only had sex with girls who had turned 18 already, that's still very fucking illegal, bro. That's still morally horrendous, bro. How do you think that's okay? And here, I hate to say this, but hearing that coming from a woman is just like extra milk curdling. It's like, come on, really? For men, it's like you never have worried about being in this position. You're a total fucking asshole. But like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for people to picture themselves in other people's shoes. But like, you did one of them, girl. Like, what? How do you think that's okay?
Also, it's a strange defense saying that. So this is all about Trump, obviously. Like that's why this full court press is being put on right here. That they're saying, no, you don't understand. Donald Trump wasn't a pedophile. His good buddy Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. And once he got done with the girls and they aged out, Trump just took part in this sex ring that he had. That's the defense. That's going to be one of the last ditch measures they're going to have here. That look. It's not illegal to have sex with your buddy's friends who are 20-year-old women. Yeah, it's going to be okay. It's just kind of strange. I don't know. It's kind of funny to watch all of this. But okay.
Before you go to the next clip, I just have to say it reminds me of the Key and Peele sketch with the 3 pumps. Right, where it's like you do 2 pumps, that's okay.
Yeah.
The 3rd pump, that's a flag. Like you fuck a 17-year-old and 364-day-old sex slave. That's bad. That you shouldn't do. But 365-day-old sex slave, totally okay. We're cool with that as the Republican Party.
It's funny you mentioned that, John. Oh no, I can't get the clip running here. About age of consent and when it is and when it is not okay by law to have sex with someone.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but
good host who knows how to segue.
Yeah, excellent segue. All right. So this is from the same show. This is from Megyn Kelly's show, and this is from Megyn Kelly herself. And she's going to be discussing the fact that, hey, maybe we've been too hard on Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe we've just taken things a little bit too far by calling this guy a pedophile all these years. Let's see what she's got to say.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this.
Can I just interject something right there, John? That part where she says he was into barely legal girls, and then she cites 15-year-olds. I don't think that's barely legal in any state. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure that's a crime everywhere you go.
The word barely is really there's a lot of weight there.
Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts.
It sounds like she's trying to make excuses for it, John. I'm just gonna guess it. It sounds a lot pretty similar to that to me.
That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just whatever.
All right, John, you said you'd seen that one already. So what was your immediate reaction upon seeing that?
This is the pedophile's last refuge, TJ. And again, it doesn't take long to refute this argument, but here we go. Yes, Megan, you are correct. If you're going to put a gun to my head and ask me what I think is morally more reprehensible, sex with a 5-year-old or a 15-year-old, well, you got me, Meg. I'm going to say 5 years old. But here's the thing. I'm not going to make that argument in any context where it might ever sound like I am defending having sex with a 15-year-old. There's no reason to say that because, Meg, no one disagrees with that stance. No one's out here going like, I thought Jeffrey Epstein was bad because he was having sex with 5-year-olds. But when it turned out he's having sex with 15-year-olds, that's going to change my opinion of him. No one's fucking saying that, Meg. No one. So why are you? What possible reason could you ever have, unless you are teaching legal courses on this matter, would you ever have to make that distinction? It doesn't fucking matter. To act like it could matter can only serve to defend people who fuck 15-year-olds. That's the only reason it would ever matter to make that argument. And that's a really fucking bad reason, Meg. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how many times you tell me it's disgusting and you don't, mean to defend. You're defending. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, we kind of all knew it would eventually come to this juncture that we would get to they're adolescent, so technically it's not pedophilia, it's a phebophilia. We all knew that was coming, just because you hear that from libertarians all the time, But the problem with that, like you said, John, was there's two main problems. One, it's still illegal either way. And listen, I know this is going to upset people because, a lot of folks have their minds got locked in these boxes, but words don't have definite meanings or meanings that don't change. Words have usages, right? Any word you're using right now probably meant something else 100 or 200 years ago. They shift and they evolve. And words have clinical uses or academic uses, but they also have colloquial uses. And colloquial uses is what we're mainly concerned with. If you're writing a research paper or a medical journal or a law, yeah, it's really important that you use the actual specificity with your terms, but we're a lot more loose with that with everyday speech. And pedophile, while clinically may refer to a certain age group, pre-adolescent people, children, in colloquial use, it's just someone who sleeps with someone who rapes underage children. That's what it means colloquially. No one was under the illusion, like John said, that Epstein had 3 and 4-year-olds in his at his island or anything like that. So going out of your way to make this distinction, as she put it perfectly, actually, that it was a distinction without a difference. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter this at all. Unless you're trying to run cover for someone. And, I don't know, folks, if you're going to go out of your way to, actually anyone, Jeffrey Epstein may be the last person you want to apply that to.
Yeah, 100% agree, TJ. There was one last thing I want to cover before we put the Epstein stuff to bed for this episode. By the way, I'm sure there'll be plenty more to talk about here. Make sure to like and subscribe to
John said the
hit that bell
thing.
icon,
Wow,
because we're
John
going to go
said the
live every
thing.
Tuesday and Thursday, 6:35. That's what we do here. In fact, I did want to point out, Martin Luther said this has a total of 9 likes, laughing my ass off. So if anyone here is liking what we're saying right now, hit that like button to tell Martin Luther to go suck a dick, right? Anyway.
Hey, look, Martin Luther, hell of a job with the 95 Theses, man. I gotta say, it is kind of a bummer that someone like, well, actually, it's not a bummer. Martin Luther has some pretty horrible thoughts, but he was completely right about the Catholic Church. Martin Luther, if you read Martin Luther's critiques of the Catholic Church from the early 1500s, he fucking crushed it. It's hard to actually refute anything that he actually said. I saw something about the donation of Constantine and how this scholar figured out that the donation of Constantine was a forgery. Music to Martin Luther's ears. He said, aha, I knew the papal states were a forgery and the Pope didn't know what he was talking about. I will say, Martin Luther, not a big fan of your pamphlet on the Jews and their lies. That one, kind of racisty to me. I didn't appreciate that one. Maybe if you had taken the anti-Semitism out of your reforms to the Catholic Church, I could stand you a little better. But hey, we'll get to you, man. 500 years. You figured to be smarter by now, but we'll see.
I think it's very funny. For like the 30 seconds you went in on Martin Luther, like deep lore history, we lost 100.
Hey, listen, if these folks aren't into it, fuck them, right? There's more where that came from.
Shout out to Jonathan Fanke here. Jesus was a socialist and a progressive. That is true, Jonathan. Very, very much true. Before we put the Epstein stuff to bed, I wanted to put up my my favorite document that came out here about Trump. In this, read the US feed regarding my airplane logs and Hawaiian tropic contest. Have them ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door. Fucking love it. Fucking love it. Like that, like you're telling me that Jeffrey Epstein made up this story of Donald Trump walking into a door because he was peeping on young girls in the swimming pool in 2015 for no fucking reason before he was even president. Yeah, buddy, I'm sure, bro. Yeah, it was a fucking Democrat hoax.
That was my second favorite part of the email. The other one where Epstein was talking about Trump is where he mentioned that a piano fell on Donald Trump and he opened his mouth and there were piano keys where his teeth would normally be. That was even funnier. I thought that was great. That was some great stuff there by Epstein. You know, he mentioned something about birds flying in a circle around his head. It was I don't know, great stuff, John. I really
I thought it was good when he painted the picture of a nude young girl on a brick wall and Donald Trump ran straight into it. But then Epstein was able to take her away and go through the fucking tunnel.
It was great.
That was also wonderful.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I kind of love it. Yeah. I won't keep this going. I was going to say, oh yeah, he painted a fake tunnel and lured there with birds. See, about three jokes is enough. We're good. We can just keep going on with this.
All right, TJ. So that I think that's a good on Epstein.
That was
today.
Good stuff. That was fun. That was pretty enjoyable stuff. So I had recommended a topic to you that I rather uncharacteristically didn't even get my proper research in line for, but I wanted to discuss Ben Shapiro. And I don't know what. Oh, you got it. All right. I did. Will Ben Shapiro leave the right? I'm not going that far, but I'm sure you've seen this. Like Ben Shapiro is. I would mention how, but Charlie Kirk, years ago. If you look at Charlie Kirk's content, it wasn't nearly as acerbic as it was toward the end of his life. It was more normal mainstream conservatism, but he would get in beef, like fights with Nick Fuentes. And he realized that Nick Fuentes' wing of the conservative movement was growing, while his was rather stagnant. So Charlie Kirk resembled Nick Fuentes a lot more at the time of his death than he did 5 years ago. Ben Shapiro has not been taken in. He has not answered the siren's call of the Groypers. He's kind of stayed there, and he's starting to pay a price for it. Have you remember that, John?
No, I 100% remember that. And in fact, so Ben Shapiro, we've always said, of the right-wing media pundits, whatever you want to call this generation, Ben Shapiro is our favorite because he is actually kind of smart. Like, again, let's not take this too far, but
I think you can. Ben Shapiro's a smart guy. I would never say he wasn't. Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's intelligent. He knows how to fucking run that goddamn Daily Wire business. You know, they've had their snafus, but like what he has accomplished with the Daily Wire is bigger than anything besides Charlie Kirk. Like Charlie Kirk was the only one who could say, "Hey, I built something bigger than you, Ben." And it's very interesting. So the thing that came out last week, did you hear about the text messages? I'm going to assume that's no. Oh shit! But you are muted, so I did not hear.
No, which text between Ben Shapiro text messages?
Yeah. So no, not Ben Shapiro text messages. But I'll add this to the stage here. But we have text messages that were leaked between Charlie Kirk and
Candace Owens. Okay, yeah, I have seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. So oh shit! I keep doing this, DJ.
Oh, Lamont's here.
There we go. Oh, Lamont's here. So we'll bring him in. Hey, Lamont, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Right.
Doing good. So we were just discussing Ben Shapiro and the text messages that were unveiled between Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. So I'm going to share this and then we'll intro you and get your thoughts. But yeah, so new leaked text messages between Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens have shocked many online. The screenshots posted by AF Post on Twitter show that before his death, Kirk believed Ben Shapiro was trying to kill both his and Owens' careers as they got more famous. In the message, Candace Owens sent Charlie Kirk an article titled "Leak Ben Shapiro's Yaff." I don't even know what the fuck that is. Launched a smear campaign against Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Dangerous. Charlie Kirk replied with a laugh, and then Owens had become bigger than Ben, and that Ben Shapiro wanted her to punch down on him. Which is very funny to say about a short man like Ben Shapiro. But yeah, so Ben Shapiro was on the outs with Candace Owens. That I don't think anyone is, that's going to take anyone surprise. Also on the outs with Charlie Kirk. And we also know Ben Shapiro has taken a stand against Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. Ever since Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on, he has been harshly critical of both of them. And all of this is to say, this is smart, I think, from Ben Shapiro, because I think Ben Shapiro might see the writing on the wall. He was anti-Trump. He was one of the last right-wing pundits to back Trump. He didn't do it until he realized that he had to. And I don't think he's ever liked Trump. And I think he's seeing the post-Trump future looking quite bad for the entire Republican Party. And he is distancing himself from the worst parts of it right now. And it's causing him flack. I think he's going to lose some impressions, some eyeballs in the meantime. But I do think that he's positioned himself not to leave the right. That's a little bit of a clickbaity headline here. But he's leaving the right as it currently stands. Now, Lamont, for people who don't know who you are, how about you give a little intro of yourself and then tell us what you think of Ben Shapiro.
What's going on, everybody? I'm very honored to be here with such great patriots, a black patriot and a white patriot. Where else would I want to be on a day like today when emails come out about everybody? Should we start to chant "lock them up"? But I'm Lamont Tyson. I have a pretty big YouTube channel, one for politics, one for movie and TV reviews. I met TJ. I thought that he was spot on in everything he says and how he breaks down how religion is corrupting politics. And they decided to keep me around. So I'm here. And I think Ben Shapiro is doing the same exact thing Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing. They see the writing on the wall. All of them know what's really in them Epstein files. And the people who know that they're not associated with it are seeing what's coming down the pike, and they're lining themselves up to step in place and take leadership to act as though they're not as crazy as the far right wing when we know better. But they see the opportunity to pick up on the grift that has been set in place by Trump and the administration, and they want to curry favor with people who claim to be in the middle that are not this far right, so that they can step up and still be the harsh dumbasses that we're used to from the Trump administration, but set aside that they're not in the Epstein files. That's what I think we're seeing going on with Republicans and MAGA.
Yeah, I can't I can't disagree with anything like that. I think that Ben Shapiro has always kind of hedged his bets on Trump, like John was saying. Ben Shapiro has always been suspicious of him. If you want to find any right wing critiques of Trump that are usually spot on, Ben Shapiro will have them. Now, of course, he will slob Trump's knob like every other right winger. He will, go to bat for it. But Lamont, excellent point about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Excellent point about that, because during the shutdown, Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of the lone Republicans who said, yeah, this is wrong. The Republicans need to reverse course on this, calling out Trump by name, even to the point where Donald Trump, I saw him say, I don't know what Marjorie's doing. I don't know what kind of brand she's trying to make for herself. And it kind of mystified me at first because I couldn't figure out what was going on. But it's the only thing that makes any sense. That I just thought when you were talking, Lamont, that last time you were on the show, you and John were saying, or was it Elon? It was Elon or Epstein, something that you guys thought was a bigger thing than I did. I can't remember which one it was. But that even if the Epstein files do end up petering out and it doesn't, damage Trump like everyone hopes it will, the midterms are going to be up this time next year, and Trump is a lame duck. He's going to be, I know there's a Trump 2028 thing. He's not going to run. It's like not enough states would put him on the ballot for it to be a viable option for him to run in the first place. It would hurt the Republican Party. So they know that Trump's time is up. His time is coming. And the Republican Party is going to have to move on to a post-MAGA identity sooner rather than later. And there was a Republican in the Senate, I think, who was saying, I wish I wrote down who he was, where he said that he was going to definitely vote to release as much as he could about the Epstein files, regardless of what the White House says. And he said that I think a lot of Republicans need to keep in mind that this vote to block the Epstein files is going to be that's going to be in a record forever. A lot longer than Trump is going to be president. So, people are going to start flooding that way. And it's a lot easier for commentators to do it than people who are actually in office who have to get votes. What do you think, John?
Yeah, no. And I think you're right about that. I do want to harp in on one little thing you said there. Mm-hmm. Which was Trump was like, I don't know what brand she's trying to go for. And I think that's exactly it. Like, Republicans are trying to figure out what their brand is going to be post-Trump dominated world. Because no matter what you think of the Epstein files, of whether Trump's going to be a lame duck come the midterms, whatever you think about that, right? Even if you have the highest hopes for the Republican Party, Trump is going to be gone in a couple years. Only the most crazy zealots think that Donald Trump is going to somehow successfully run and win the presidency and retain the presidency and have it actually stay in office in 2028. And so everyone's thinking right now, hey, what happens when this guy is no longer in power? And even then, buddy, look at him talking. Look at what he looks like. He's not long for this world. If he's still kicking a decade from now, I will be shocked. So anyone who doesn't plan on dying in the next 10 years has to start thinking about what their life looks like post-Trump. And we're starting to see some answers. We're starting to see the battle lines get drawn and early positioning being taken. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I thought she was a dumbass, DJ. I thought she was a dumbass that just hit the right grift and got there at the right time. I no longer think that. I think she actually has fucking some political chops. I think she understands, you said, the branding. She's branded. She understood I am branded as a anti-establishment rebel rouser. I can't be anti-establishment and also suck the establishment's dick. So I need to be the anti-establishment MAGA person. And I think she's positioning herself better than most of Republican Congress is right now. I have to say, I'm very impressed with her gamesmanship here. And I think Shapiro, I always expected good gamesmanship from. She's the one that I'm surprised by. What do you think, Lamont?
I told TJ a long time ago, we was debating about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I told him she might not be the sharpest tool in attack, but she knows how to curry favor with her celebrity. So she enjoys getting into back and forth with rising Democrats such as Ro Khanna, the famous one with Jasmine Crockett. And she knows that the more she gets into it with them, she becomes one of those people where any publicity turns into good publicity. And now that Trump has gone so far to a place where she comes on TV and says that she needs the ACA for her own kids, she just positioned herself in a place of almost understanding for the middle class. And then she's been coming out. We know she's an anti-Semite, but she's been coming out saying, why are we giving money to Israel when they get health care, they get free college? Just basically putting herself to be the wedge for when this administration peters out. And let's say the Epstein files don't do anything to them. TJ mentioned a couple of senators that are Republicans. One of them is my state senator, Tom Tillis, who is not going to be running. He's leaving office. And while he's leaving, he's been doing a lot of stuff against the MAGA administration. And I think they're trying to run him out. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's smart. And I think she's going to try to run for presidency in the next election.
Yeah, I will agree. Marjorie Taylor Greene was smarter than I gave her credit for. I still remember the first time I ever saw anything about Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was years ago. She did a commercial where I think she was shooting some sort of gun to blow up a car or something like that. Yep. It looked like a cartoon. And I said, oh man, no one's going to take this person seriously. Boy, was I wrong. They absolutely did. But we started this talking about Ben Shapiro. Now, I am not quite as convinced that Shapiro is going to be. I would, if I had to bet on someone's future, I would actually bet on Marjorie Taylor Greene's more than Shapiro's as far as being at the same level. And it's not because I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is smarter than Ben Shapiro. I would never say I think Ben Shapiro is infinitely smarter than she is and more politically talented. But Ben Shapiro is limited by something that will always put a ceiling on how far you go in the political game or the political commentary game, and that is having actual principles. And Ben Shapiro does. I mean, say what you want about the guy. I don't doubt for a second that when he says he thinks that this should be a Christian or a Judeo-Christian nation. Sorry, that he actually believes it. That he wears the yarmulke. I don't think he does that to virtue signal like that, but so he does have beliefs that are clashing with the growing movements on the right, like the more fascist-y movement and everything, and it's a more populist movement. I first saw, did you guys ever see the interview he did with Tucker Carlson where they were talking about driverless vehicles, about autonomous vehicles, and Ben Shapiro was saying he thinks this is a great thing, and Tucker Carlson says no, driverless vehicles are bad because that's going to take away the jobs from 30% of the men of the nation. You guys remember that?
I remember it.
I vaguely remember, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, Tucker Carlson's wrong about almost everything, but yeah, he's right that if under our current system, we're going to get better and better technology. We're going to have fewer and fewer jobs. AI, where machines are going to start taking over jobs, and fewer people are going to be able to work. And under a capitalist system, well, it's not like we can just magically have millions of jobs appear to fill these folks' positions. They're going to die. And Carlson was saying, we don't need to worship at the altar of capitalism. Yeah, we can change if the society changes. But here's another thing he said. John, I think you shared this, so I'll have to get your opinion on this. Hold on, okay, pull it up, here we go.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up. But the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities.
Now, we could make the very easy joke that it's right on brand for Ben Shapiro to say that just because you were born somewhere, because you're native to a place, that doesn't mean you have a right to live there. Maybe you should think about something else. That's very easy. I'm not going to go down that road. But I just want to talk about the fact that this is right in line with conservative principles, right? Like if we're talking about your standard garden variety conservative thought, if there is a problem with, I think he says it in this interview, that if there's a problem with your environment, you could be mad at the environment or you could change your environment. That's what conservatives preach. That's not going to fly very well for young people whose lives are fucked and they know it. When Ben Shapiro says, no, we're not going to do anything to help, that I think that he's going to find himself with a smaller and smaller port. He'll still be popular on the right wing, but he's never going to reach the status that he had a few years ago. What do you think, John?
It's a very interesting argument he's making because on one hand, he sounds like an asshole. like it's really hard to say, yo, bro, if you can't afford to live in America, just move to another country.
To be fair, he was talking about New York City. He was talking about cities, and that cities are too. He was talking about New York in specific, that it's too expensive to live in these cities. So hey, just move. Has anyone moved lately? I want to add that I just moved from Indiana to Missouri at thousands of dollars. Okay, just to move, and everything like that. So young people don't have the money to just move whenever they feel like it. But sorry, go ahead, John.
Yes. Okay. So I thought he was talking about the country. So
no.
So this is one of those topics where I kind of lean more what we would say right, where there is certainly a natural and efficient moving of people based on economic needs. And we have to be able to tell where that line is. But yeah, at a certain point, hey, if you can't afford to live in New York City, go live somewhere else. Like, I don't know, Philadelphia. I lived in New York. It fucking sucked. I moved to Philadelphia. Everything's cheaper here. My life is better. And you know what? If I went and lived in fucking bumfuck Alabama, it would be much, much cheaper. Luckily, I can afford not to do that. But there are definitely people who are making their lives worse by choosing to live in a place where the cost of living is just too goddamn high for them. And TJ, you're right. It's hard to move. It's expensive to move. And this is a little bit more of a complicated topic when you're talking about like grown adults with families living in a location for most of their lives and then being forced to leave that they don't have the money for whatever it is. That is where you get into problems. But I will actually say with Ben Shapiro here, I didn't realize, I thought he was talking about leaving the country. If you're talking about like, hey, yeah, no, like young person, maybe don't live in New York City. I support that 100%. There's a lot of viable places to live in this country that you can get almost everything you can get in New York City, or at least you can get everything you can get as a poor person in New York City. And still have a very happy life. So I will actually say on this map, I kind of agree with Ben. As you are correct, it does not jive. It's the current conservative ideology.
And it's like it doesn't have to be a feast or famine type of situation, right? Because I think what started I think they were talking about Mamdani. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe they're talking about that. And Mamdani was saying it's too expensive to live in New York. There are all these things that the city requires you to do to sell food there that are unnecessary. They don't stop people from exploiting you on your rent. There's lots of ways that big government and big business takes a lot of money from the average person. And Mamdani said maybe we should do something to stop that. Everybody's like, no, fuck you. No, how about nothing? How about we let the robber barons do whatever they want, and if you don't like it, you can leave. That, like you said, that's not going to fly very well. What do you think, Lamont?
I'm in between on that, because if you were to tell my mom, who has no education, didn't get past 8th grade, had me when she was 19, to move from a place that's not that expensive and she still couldn't afford that, she would look at you side-eyed. And I think it's rich for Ben Shapiro to be telling people to do that when some people can't even afford to live where they're at, even if it's cheap. What he should be talking about is the constructs of capitalism that have gone off the rails that create why things are expensive. And why is it that minimum wage hasn't gone up since I was in high school, and I'm 45 now, but inflation and cost of living keep skyrocketing to the advantage of the people that are creating this whole mess, which is the rich, the powerful, the folks that run governments that are running amok. And they don't want Mamdani there when they claim they don't like big government or government intervening, and he's talking about getting rid of some of it, and they don't want it. He's talking about what can we do to streamline what's in place, and they don't want it. And so, if I was sitting across from Ben Shapiro, I would say, what would you do about the people who can't even afford to live anywhere, no matter what the cost is? What would you tell them? They have no education. They have nothing to fall back on. Single mom who's working 2 jobs and is trying to make it and is trying to raise a kid. That person, unless somebody helps them, can't go anywhere. And TJ talked about how he just moved from Indiana to Missouri. TJ, I just moved from Elon, North Carolina to Burlington, which is 2 miles, and that shit down there cost me $3,000.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So no, Ben, no, I get what he's saying. If you are in position to do it, maybe you're a moderate income, or a little bit better than that. But the average person with the average salary in America making $50,000, they can't afford to do it. And shout out to my favorite Flurkin, that cat. I love that cat. That's my guy. Shout out to him. I love the bow he's rocking today. That's my man right there, the Flurkin.
I love that. Yeah, I was on Lamont's show once, and Wolfie hopped on my lap, and Lamont says, "Hey, we got a Flurkin. We got a Flurkin on today's show." That was great. No, Lamont, I'm so glad that you said that about it. In the Army, I moved all the time. In the Army, if you guys in the military, you move every few years. Like if you're somewhere for more than 3 years, that's pretty lucky. But when in the Army, because it has a lot of social democratic policies in the United States military, they take care of the move for you. Like, okay, you're working for us. We told you to move. It only makes sense that we pay for the move. Now, other jobs, you may not have that luxury, or if you have no job at all, you're trying to find something better. I didn't want to mention how much it costs to move across from Indiana to Missouri, like just one state over, well, 2 states over. It was like 10 grand. I'm not joking. Like it was between the moving out of the moving trucks and the labor, and then paying for the first month of rent to the house we have now, which is, what was like $2,700 or something, and the security deposit, another $2,700. That's just getting in the door. And so, yeah, moving is insanely expensive. And Lamont, I'm so glad you mentioned that Ben Shapiro is speaking from a place of privilege, because I've always said this about Ben Shapiro, that I used to be conservative. I was conservative for up until like my mid or late 20s or something like that. But when my brain fully developed. But that Ben Shapiro, I can understand being a conservative, like conservatives that suffer from confirmation bias or selection bias, that they're survivorship bias. They're the ones who made it. They say, I worked my way up. I fought, I scribed, I saved, and I made it. Everyone I know was poor in my neighborhood, but I made it out. If I can do it, so can they. Now, that logic's pretty flawed. It doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of ways, but I get why they think that. If I were Ben fucking Shapiro and I grew up wealthy and, I happen to be just even more wealthy, even if I believe that to be true, you would never hear me saying it. You would never. Who the fuck do I think I am, having born with a silver spoon in my mouth, saying, I don't get why you poor people don't just get off your asses and make something of yourselves. I don't understand. So, yeah, good point there, Lamont. What do you think, John?
Yeah, no, it is embarrassing to be a born rich person. Like, yes. I completely agree with that. I get how people who made it think everyone can make it.
Yeah.
And they don't quite get that only so many people can make it. They don't quite get that part, but at least it makes sense. It is embarrassing. I was, as we often discuss on this show, was born to upper middle class
rich kid here, folks.
Right. But I'm embarrassed by that. I'm embarrassed by that. And my parents were not Ben Shapiro's parents. So I can't imagine being just fucking work harder, bro, when I was born with that much of an advantage. I just cannot fucking imagine it. I will say, I am, as I said earlier, gentrification, there is bad things about it. There's good things about it. I think that generally sometimes people describe something as gentrification when it's really just the natural movement of people. As long as you can take care of the people who are displaced, if you have systems in place, safety nets in place, that they're able to move to a different location that is just as good, if not better, that some of that has to happen in order to have economic mobility in your country. But the problem is when you take that to the extreme, when you take to the, if you can't afford it, just die then. That's the problem with that line of thought, which is kind of what Ben Shapiro was going down. So it's one of the places where I can see a lot of overlap with conservatives where I'm I get it. Free markets, free movement of people. I'm all for that shit. But you need to have safety nets for the people who are being displaced out of their homes through no fault of their own. It's not like the single mother of four is working any less hard and that's why she can't fucking afford her home. No, it's because of factors completely beyond her control we should, as a society, make sure that, you know, she's okay, so her kids are okay, so that they can grow up in a stable environment and not do all of the bad things that people do when they don't. And it always is cost effective to invest in people like that. And that's where the Ben Shapiro's of the world just fucking fall apart. Is they're like, survival of the fittest. Well, you know what? When you get survival of the fittest, you get people who survive by any means necessary, and we don't want that.
No, it's like it really bothers me. It's really funny how conservatives and right wingers are a lot more likely to believe Darwinism is a liberal plot, that it's a fairy tale, that you know, the origin of the species and everything Darwin wrote, it's like, oh, it's nonsense, that evolution isn't real. But they believe in social Darwinism. They believe that, you know, in society, if you can't hack it, we should just pretty much leave you to die. You figure it out on your own. And it's funny because, like, why do you think human civilization exists in the first place? The only reason we bother with this whole society thing, the reason we bother building civilizations, is to make sure that life is as pleasant and as you know, fulfilling and safe for as many people as possible, even people who may be having a hard time contributing. That's why we're here, right? If we didn't want that, we could still be living in the African savannah, right? We could still just be living off the ground, living off the land and sleeping in caves. But we don't do that. We say, no, we're going to take care of people. We're going to make sure everyone can maximize their human potential and do the best they can to succeed. And I can't believe, John and Lamont, we didn't mention probably the biggest reason that Shapiro is losing support from a lot of right wingers on the far right, and that's because they're anti-Semites, right? And like they right, yeah. So the Ben Shapiro, you know, being Jewish is a strike against him for the far right, but you know, his ardent support for sending billions of dollars to Israel while saying, if you can't survive in the city you're born in the United States, fuck you. We need to send billions of dollars overseas. That's not going to fly very well either. So yeah, he's going to lose a bit of support, but we'll see what we can do there. Lamont, man, we only have Lamont for like 15, 20 more minutes. It's sad. We held off on this the whole time. We wanted to get your take on the Democrats and the government shutdown. I know you've got some thoughts on this, and I haven't talked to him, so this is going to be my first exposure to Lamont's thoughts, but I got to hear
it. You held it down for 40 days. 40 days. 40 days, you were able to say, we're not capitulating and bending the knee like this is a sad episode of Game of Thrones to Trump, because we do not want people's premiums on the ACA to skyrocket. You did that for this long, only to bend the knee, you hateful 8 Democrats, for what? So that Mike Johnson can call a vote in January when after this thing was signed, he comes out and says, I'm not calling the vote. I don't understand why these Democrats keep playing this game of nice politics. I'm sorry. How many times you got to get kicked in the ass before you realize the American people are trying to move themselves back to the left because the pendulum has swung so far to the right that the equilibrium is off. And those 8 Democrats that went and done that bull job make me sick. And states that were blue had emergency funds and was already starting to give SNAP benefits to their citizens. Most states were. The states that said we're not doing that were mostly red states. Who voted for Trump mostly? Folks in the red states. Fuck around and find out is what they was getting. And you Democrats let them off the hook. And I will never forgive them for this. Marjorie Taylor Greene talked about how her insurance is going to go up. And it's a bad thing when Marjorie Taylor Greene is championing a cause that the Democratic tent pool should be championing more than 8 senators were able to do. I don't like that. I'm upset with that. These guys are always talking about we need to be in the middle. The Republicans are not playing a game in the middle. And you let us down. You let us off the hook. You just saw previous Tuesday, a lot of people came out for Mamdani, meaning they want progressive ideas. They want a populist progressive idea, and they want somebody that's going to stand up to what Trump and the administration is doing, and you fuckers cave. That's what I think about it.
Lamont, why do you think they did it?
Somebody promised them something. Like you hear them in interviews saying bull job like, oh, my veterans needed to get their benefits. Oh, these people needed to get their benefits. No, TJ, we know better than that. Some of them got some backdoor deals. Fetterman, he's been a thorn in the Democratic side probably a month since he got in office for Pennsylvania as their senator. He's been voting with the right so much. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if it's that stroke he had. I don't know what's going on. Tim Kaine, I've never liked him since he ran with Hillary. I don't know why the hell she picked him. He was not my choice. That woman, I can't think of her name right now because I'm so frustrated with her.
Cortez Masto?
Yes, she's a grifter. Like, I expect that from her kind of sort of because she's a grifter, but you waited for 40 days. The only thing I can say, TJ, something was promised to them via Schumer or the administration for them to cave the way that they did. And I'm sure that some of them are going to die on that hill because they're going to get some kind of golden handcuff at the end. I don't know what it is, but something caused them to fall on that hill.
What do you think, John? Like, what do you think was the reason they decided to buckle?
So I've been giving this more thought, TJ.
Yeah.
And no matter how much I think about it, I don't have an answer for you. Like, there's no reason. I've looked at all of their arguments. I've looked at everything. There is no reason other than what Lamont is saying for them to have done what they did. Like, they must have been offered something. I am 100%, like, as you can tell from how I labeled this topic on the Chiron, this is Chuck Schumer. It's got Chuck Schumer's fingerprints all fucking over it. Chuck Schumer. I have never been as mad at a singular politician on the Democratic side of the ticket. Besides maybe Biden, but like just pure fucking I hate you, Chuck Schumer. The fact that Chuck is going and saying, oh, I voted no. Look, guys, I'm a good guy. I vote. Like, go get your ass. Go to a fucking nursing home and get the fuck out of Congress. Because, oh my God, no one believes you. No one fucking believes you. And even if I believe that Chuck Schumer voted no and wanted it to be no, that is a dereliction of duty. That is a failure of leadership that you had 8 fucking senators who, by the way, just all happen to be senators that aren't up for re-election next year to vote against you. If you're going to tell me you're the leader of the Democratic motherfucking party and you let 8 fucking senators jump ship and mutiny on you, get the fuck out. You're not fit for leadership. You weren't fit for leadership before, let's be clear, but now it's beyond clear. He's 4 points underwater with Democrats. His approval rating with Democrats is minus 4%. And he's the leader? That's not, like, get the fuck out. If a fucking NFL coach had lost the locker room and 8 fucking players went, I want this guy. I disagree with what this guy's doing, and they stated it publicly. And the fans disapproved of him, and the players disapproved of him. He'd be fucking fired 3 months before all of that happened. And yet, for some reason, when it comes to the leader of the opposition party against a fascist far-right movement in this country, he just still has his fucking job. Get the fuck out of here, Chuck. Resign, motherfucker.
Yeah, that is especially infuriating that Chuck Schumer's pretending that this has nothing to do with him. I don't know why he even bothers, because no one's going to believe that, right? Like no one who pays any attention to this.
It's worse, TJ. It's worse. It is worse for him to say, yeah, I said no and they said yes. He should just fucking own it. Own being a dickhead. Do it. Mm-hmm. This is the worst possible thing. This is why I'm so mad at him.
You're right. Yeah. If either case is bad, either he orchestrated this to tank the ambitions of his own party, or he was too inept to stop it from happening. Either way, he's not fit for the job. He needs to be replaced. And it shows that this rot goes a lot deeper than I even thought. I knew it was there, but I wouldn't have guessed it was this deep. So Lamont, I told this to John last week, that I think the reason that the Democrats ended up folding was to protect the filibuster. It's the only theory that makes any sense. You disagree, Lamont?
it makes a little bit of sense, but imagine if Trump was to decide to do something with that. That would ruin them because the midterms is coming, and I think it's going to be a complete blue wave. I'm sorry about that, y'all. It's going to be a complete blue wave all over again. Then Democrats are going to have this opportunity. I don't think Trump would have. I think that would have been suicide for the Republicans, simple and plain, because it would have backfired. And to add to your point, TJ, I think that there's a lot of AIPAC money involved in this too that did not want anything to happen with the ACA in the first place. Some of that same AIPAC money that funds Republicans and Democrats, like Chuck Schumer, like Hakeem Jeffries, I also think they had something to do with this too, because some of them want these premiums to go up, and some of them do not want to see more progressive ideas hold the line. And I think some of that got involved in it too, TJ.
Well, if that were the case, why would they vote for the shutdown in the first place, though? Right? Wouldn't that kind of it makes them look bad? Because what I was saying last time is that what really upsets me about this is that the American people, like all the polling show that the people said, well, this is the Republicans' fault. They control everything. That maybe they weren't even like, we know that the filibuster is a made up Senate rule that they can circumvent anytime they feel like it. We know that. The American people probably don't even go that far. They're thinking, well, they control the Senate. They can do whatever they want. They incorrectly think that. Well, they do correctly think that. And they were blaming Trump for it. Trump's approval ratings was down in the 30%. He was calling for the end of the filibuster. The Republicans, I've never seen them, well, Trump specifically, I've never seen Trump in a weaker position. Like they had him exactly where they wanted him. And yeah, that's why I think the filibuster thing was why, because the only way that the government would be reopened, which is what Trump said he wanted multiple times, even going to the extent of saying he wanted the filibuster to be circumvented for this, was to do precisely that. And I don't think the Democrats want the filibuster circumvented. I think that they don't want that precedent, because let's say that Trump did say we're going to get rid of it or circumvent or whatever, and it becomes, acceptable for them to go around to do a carve out for filibuster for funding and everything like that. Yeah, the Republicans could pass their laws a lot quicker, which would probably backfire, and the Democrats would win next time by a bigger margin. But now they would be expected to listen to their progressive base and, I don't know, raise minimum wage. And I'm sorry, John, I'm going on with this, but when he mentioned John Fetterman, thanks, John, by the way, for giving us John Fetterman by Pennsylvania over there. But yeah, John Fetterman and the other ones, like, so this is what it stings so much, is that with Joe Manchin, I don't like Joe Manchin. I get it though. Like Joe Manchin is the only Democrat was the only Democrat in the entire state of West Virginia, right? He has to walk a pretty fine line. I got it. I understand that. Kirsten Sinema, not so much. I don't know why it was so important for her, but John Fetterman. I mean, if we're just going to blame the stroke, okay, that's cool. But yeah, the fact that 8 Democrats are in on this is like, yeah, I think it's just, it's Senate-wide on the Democrat side that they want the filibuster more than they want the Republicans to circumvent it. What do you think, John?
Since you bring up John Fetterman, did you hear about the news about John Fetterman?
I heard he fell. I heard that he fell.
He's in the hospital. And you know what? Like I'm seeing a lot of people making jokes about this. And I just have to say, John Fetterman is not going to see your jokes about him falling flat on his face and fucking up his head on the fucking sidewalk, trying to walk like a normal person. But you know who will see it? Your friends who have survived a stroke. And they're going to laugh along with you because it's funny to make fun of terrible people when bad things happen. John Fetterman can go fuck himself. I've said this on the show before. John Fetterman, I was so when I voted for John Fetterman, TJ, I was so happy. I literally thought to myself, I've never been more happy to cast a vote for a politician.
Yep.
He kicked the shit out of Connor Lamb. He was the progressive candidate, and goddamn, I've never been more wrong about anything in my entire goddamn. I apologize, hand up, my bad. But I do say process over results. I wouldn't necessarily change. I would change anything if knowing what I do now, but I wouldn't change the process that led me to the conclusion. But yeah, I just totally got bit in the ass on that one. But yeah, no, it is what it is, TJ. It is what it is. We're the Democrats until we have a full clean house. I swear to God, we've been saying the Democratic Tea Party needs to happen. This needs to be the moment where everyone realizes this shit ain't gonna fly anymore. We cannot move forward as a party like this. It is broken beyond repair. And I'm not one of the people who say, hey, we need to, like, I like what the Working Family Party is doing. Everyone who's watching right now, if you like feel the way we do, go follow, sign up, register for the Working Family Party, support that. What they do is that they put forward their own candidates and they support Democrats in elections their own candidates can't win, and they do a wonderful fucking job. But I don't think a third party is going to come in here and fucking somehow beat both the Republicans and the Democrats. What we need is a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party from within, the same way the Tea Party took over the Republican Party. If those fucking Tea Party fucks could do it, we can do it too. And we're going against the most incompetent people on goddamn earth. So fuck, get Chuck Schumer out. Hakeem Jeffries, go fuck yourself too. You had a moment. You had a chance. You could have said, fuck them. Fuck Chuck Schumer. Fuck the Senate Democrats. They are wrong. How dare they? Chuck Schumer should step down. Hakeem, you had your one moment. You had your one shot for me to buy into you, and you fucking blew it. It's over for all of you. Get the fuck out of here.
I love that, John. I love that. Yeah, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, they make my blood boil, man. And speaking of terrible leaders, nothing is free except for the salvation offered by Jesus Christ, and it cost him all. Yeah, don't think much of Jesus, but I gotta dispute your comment, Joker, saying nothing is free, because a full weekend of debauchery with your mom and sister cost me absolutely nothing. I gave it up real easy. It was a fantastic time. So you may want to check on that. There are plenty of free things in this world, and they're quite enjoyable. All right. Lamont. Shit. Anything having to do with you, Lamont? I didn't ask you for any topic to discuss. I know you got to leave us pretty soon, but any big topics you discuss before you need to bounce out here?
No, I just want people to understand what John just got finished talking about with the Democrats and the tent pool that we serve. We have Zohran Mamdani, who came in with a progressive populist mandate, protocol, whatever you want to call it. And everybody was energized and engaged by what he's setting out to do. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why other Democrats didn't get behind him, because AIPAC doesn't want them to get behind Mamdani. But we need the Democrats to do those type of things for the working people. The working people are suffering. And now Trump is talking about circulating $2,000 checks. Well, what do you think that's going to do? That's going to cause inflation to go up. Once you burn through that money, you're going to be stuck with bills that are even higher, because the same rich people who got the money in the first place now get to say, since you put more money into the marketplace, we can raise the bill. And you got Trump folks running around here with their two snaggletooths thinking that this is a good thing. It's not. It's fucking not a good thing. Learn, people. As much as you love to read the fucking Bible, how about you read some economy books? How about you read some books on how consumer works? How about you read some books on how capitalism works in a country that also has socialism? The two are supposed to balance themselves out. And as of the last 20 years, capitalism has been run amok and socialism has been torn apart. That's my final thoughts, TJ.
All right. Well, speaking of tearing things apart, I got a comment from John Golf here saying, TJ is clearly gay. Why is he talking about someone's mom? Now, John, I am not gay. I got to clear that up, that I'm not gay. Although I have had sex with a man one time. Coincidentally, it was your dad. And that was now... And listen, I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed myself. I mean, your dad's face looked like a Cinnabon by the time I was finished. It was a good time. But I had no idea a man could be that flexible. It was incredible. But I want you to get a message to that guy. Tell him to stop calling me. He keeps leaving these pathetic messages about how he wants to see me again and how his son John is a colossal failure and he's really embarrassed about him. So just deliver that message to him for me, and I'd appreciate that. All right, Lamont, thanks so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. We'll have to catch you next time.
Look, thank you guys, man. Anytime you need a third wheel, I'm happy to be a peg in this third wheel of a great show that you guys call The Left Wing. It's been an honor. You guys keep following these great gentlemen. They put out great work. They got great energy. John, I'll say this to you and then I'll go. We need more people like you who was raised in middle class or upper class environment, because what you do, you speak out for people who haven't got that. You speak out for equality. You speak out for wanting everybody to be able to achieve that. And it's better heard from someone like you who grew up, I'm not saying you're rich, but you grew up with situations that was a little better than those who are poor. And you're still showing sympathy for others. That's what we need more of. So, John, be proud of how you got raised and keep letting people know that even though you was raised like that, you understand the plight and you're here to support them. And I'm out of here, fellas.
There's nothing that us upper middle class white guys need to know more than that we are the important ones here. So thank you very much for that. No, I really appreciate it, Lamont. you can catch John. The third wheel anytime.
Nice,
All right,
nice
fellas,
nice.
man. I appreciate y'all.
Later, Mont. John, I saw you sent me. Oh, by the way, John, loving the orientation you have here for the vertical view. I'm sorry, the horizontal view. Because I never said this. I never liked the old one, or like the way it was too small. I have bad eyes and I'm old, and so it was just hard for me to see sometimes. This is great, and it looks really good in the vertical one as well. So yeah, hats off on that.
I'm figuring this out today.
That was great.
It took me like twice as long to do every single one of these now.
Oh,
that's okay. It works better. We got a lot of viewers right now, way more than we usually do because of this.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah. By the way, I don't see their feed on TikTok. I went to TikTok to try to find it.
I turned it down. The audio wasn't working, so we're.
Oh, okay.
Maybe next time we'll figure it out. But definitely, if you guys are watching right now, we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:35 EST. This is our standard Thursday show where we bring guests on. We do topics. Tuesday is our Q&A show, so definitely join us on Tuesday, and we'll be directly, answering your guys' questions on the live stream. TJ, I know we want to talk about. We kind of talked about a lot. But anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about what Lamont said. Kind of reminded me of this, but you sent me a video right before the show started, I think, and it was saying men. Do we need more leftist men? That's kind of been our mantra the entire time, right? Did you send me that?
Yes, I did. It was a guest who will be on the show.
Cool.
Did you want to say something about it? Should we play it?
No. Well, I just thought, yes, I agree with that, and we haven't actually mentioned that in a long time, I think. And I'm glad that we're going to be having someone going. No, I thought the guy you sent said that white men shouldn't wear red hats with white letters on it. I thought maybe it was a different one I saw. But when I saw that too, I said, well, I would include white women too. Because let me tell you something, John. I am sick and tired of people infantilizing the wives, the girlfriends, the female significant others of right-wingers. I've seen this for years where they'll say, wow, I feel really bad for Melania Trump. What the fuck for? Like, why? I feel bad for Melania Trump for one reason, in that she probably married Donald Trump thinking he was going to die soon and she'd get a bunch of money. That's it. Like, because she never would have dreamed that this guy would live forever and become president of the United States twice. She probably never guessed that. But I'm not going to assume that she's a decent human being. Katie Miller, before she opened her mouth, everyone's like, wow, it's really bad. I can't. Or they'll tell women, if you're a woman and your boyfriend is a racist right winger, it's like, okay, well, she's probably a racist too. Okay, most white women ended up voting for Trump anyway, so why give them the benefit of the doubt? It just bugs me.
I will say,
yeah, it's absurd.
I have a white woman who is very close to me, who's in a significant relationship with a blazing Republican, and I don't know what to do about TJ, because I know she isn't, but I'm like, you're supporting this shit.
How Republican is he?
I don't know what you want me to think of you, but if that's not a deal breaker in your relationship, what fucking values do you share? I don't, again, like, if you're just like someone, neither of you pay attention to politics, he votes whatever, you vote whatever, like whatever. But like when it's the blazing fucking conservatives that are posting shit on fucking line, fucking sucking Charlie Kirk's dick and shit, like, I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Break up with my guy. What, you want to fucking live the rest of your life with this guy? No, like, break up with your fucking Republican boyfriend right fucking now, because we ain't gonna have sympathy for you. We're not.
No, well, listen, I mean, I think you know the answer to this, John. It's like, she probably holds a lot of these opinions too. It doesn't make any sense, right? This is what, like, conservatives will always whine and complain. So, oh wow, so you're going to ruin a friendship over politics? Listen. At a certain point, and that point comes pretty quickly, politics becomes about your values. It becomes about your morality, like what you find important on how human beings should be treated and what kind of life we expect to live. And like, yeah, if our values are misaligned, then why would, yeah, if you genuinely think that the left wingers and the Democrats in your family are groomers and child predators, why would you want to be their friend? That's kind of weird on you, actually, that you think that about them. And like, why won't they be my friend? I can't believe they're splitting up over politics. So yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. But we take this stuff seriously, and I don't know. To a lot of Republicans, they treat it like a football game. Like, all right, that's it. We're the red team. The red team's gonna win. We love talking shit to the blue team. It doesn't really matter, especially with Trump folks. With Trump folks more than anybody else, because you've seen the stats on this. The less you actually pay attention to politics, the more that you like Trump. The less educated you are, the more you like Trump. Those are just facts. I'm sorry that the dumber you are, the more likely you are to support Donald Trump. And it makes perfect sense because Donald Trump is pretty dumb himself. But yeah, I don't know why people can't seem to figure that out. That when you have values that are deeply important to you and that you want life to reflect those values, if someone doesn't share in that vision, yeah, maybe you're best off not hanging out with them. But that's all I got.
It reminds me of something that I forget which one of them, but Trey Parker and Matt Stone said, because like they were asked about why politics is playing such a major role in South Park now. And South Park has always been political. They've always hit on topics, but this season of South Park is entirely political. It's all about fucking politics. And their answer was, well, South Park is a show about pop culture, and politics is pop culture now. Like, it is part of our cultural identity which one of these teams we're on. It's not just about some minor disagreements on what tax rates are. It's major personal investment in what's going on in the political world. And there's a lot of people who don't really give a shit, don't follow it or whatever. But like, there's a lot of people that fucking do. There's a lot of people who treat politics like pop culture now. And if they're treating politics like pop culture and they're getting involved and they're getting invested and they're coming to the conclusion of, the red team, the team that is currently laying cover for the fucking giant pedophile ring, that's my team. The team that says things like just today, I think it was Sean Duffy, transportation secretary. Did you see what he said today?
Oh, what did he say? No, I didn't see anything about that.
He said, let me see if I can pull this up. Because here we go. Hold on. They and like again, like what I'm about to show, it's one guy, but it is a fucking cabinet member, and it's something that you'll see time and time. It's something that fucking Charlie Kirk said. Whatever.
Let's go.
Telling young girls, get a job, advance your career. Your career is the most important thing that you have in your life. I think it's a false promise, man. I think it's a false promise. I don't think it doesn't give you happiness. It doesn't give you, it'll give you money, right? It'll give you colleagues. It might give you personal gratification, but who do you have a cup of coffee with on a Saturday morning? Who do you get to watch a sunset with? Who do you get to share a day on the lake with? Or a rainy day where you sit in your house, who do you share that with? You don't share it with your colleagues. It might be fun when you're 34 years old and you don't have to deal with 4 kids crying at home and changing diapers and taking someone to soccer practice. That might seem fun, but in the end, those colleagues, that corporation, they're not going to be with you at the end. They're not going to go on vacation with you. They're not going to have a cup of coffee with you on Sunday morning. It is the people that you put around you, which is your family. I think that is the most important. And I think starting young is important. Have kids. And again, it's not easy, right? It's hard.
And yeah, this is the shit that they fucking say. And, to the people who are like, oh, that's actually pretty good advice, put your family before your career. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But why is he just directing that at the girls, bro?
Yeah,
why is he just directing it at the girls? Why does it sound so much like what all the fucking misogynistic asshole villains in every fucking movie that we all agreed were always bad? Why is it the same shit that they fucking say? Why? And if someone agrees with that, if you're dating a guy that agrees with that, well, you know what? You know what kind of husband he's going to turn out to be? He's going to turn out to be one of the husbands in those goddamn movies that you always thought was the fucking villain. Just saying.
Yeah. I actually had forgot that he was addressing it to women in the beginning. I was like, he's not totally wrong. He's not completely off on this.
No,
That the corporate, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, no. And if he's questioning, he's like, oh, so you think that like family is important? No, I think it is. I think it's equally important for men and women. Why the fuck are you saying that little girls need to be focused on having kids and not little boys? What the fuck's the difference, bro?
Yeah. It's this patriarchal mindset. But all right, John. Figure we close this up a couple minutes early. What about you?
Let's do it. It's been a wonderful show. Again, thank you guys all for watching, or I should say, thank you for watching this wonderful episode of The Left Wing. We have been at this for about 2 hours now, and we've had a lot of live viewers thanks to this new format change that we've done. So make sure, if you're new here, to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, do all of that shit that YouTubers always tell you to do, but actually do it this time, because we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:35 EST, and we love fucking chopping up in the comments, especially on Tuesdays. Make sure to be here. TJ, any final words for us?
Yeah, I was gonna end with a joke talking about clapping cheeks of that guy's dad who I was talking about before, but I think his name was John, and it would have sounded weird if I said that, you can catch me doing a live in which I'm just blowing John's dad's back out. And I was like, yeah, that's not, John's dad seems like a great guy. I don't want to give the wrong impression with that right there. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you all later.